I'm muffin and I'm half-ass ready. So, not liking the sound that's coming through my phone today, but I'm going to work with what I got for some reason. So, I want to talk to y'all about generator basics, right? During the hurricane, Helene here, I spent many days on the generator. And thank God I had it. And my generator's plan worked well. For years, I've used generators to power my house with power outages. I live in the country. But never dreamed I'd be running my generator for 15 days. Okay, so I had to alter my generator plan. And after the storm, a lot of people were asking me about my generator plan. So I thought we'd talk about generators. So, generator basics. Your preferences, your home, your thought process on it is your thought process. All I want to do is us to think about it. That's all I want us to do. So, we're going to hit the high spots hard. But, so, wattage, that's the magic number. When you purchase a generator, it has 2 wattage numbers on it, right? So you go buy a generator and it's 9,000 watts. And then it has another number that says 7,250, right? So these are runtime and peak watts, right? So running watts is the low number, right? That's what, after everything hits its peak and starts up, right? It's the number that you need to know on how many running watts you need to run what you want to run, right? So, how many watts do you need? You need to know these 2 numbers, run watts, peak watts, on what you're wanting to, what you have to run. What do you need, right? So you have to run this many watts. That's how big of a generator you need to purchase, okay? So, now, how many do you want? Now, that your pocketbook limits that, right? You can buy as big a generator as you want, and then you don't have to worry about these peak and run watts, right? You get a 20,000 watt generator, you can run your whole house. You don't have to worry about it, right? But your pocketbook has to worry about it. So you know what you need. I know what I have. I know what I want also, okay? So when you purchase your generator, the manual inside the generator, it has a chart. It's not completely accurate, but it will give you an idea of how to do the math on what you need in runtime and peak time, right? So, and you have to do the math. So you have to add up, if you're running 2 refrigerators, you find the refrigerator number and you double it, right? And if you have to take into consideration that both those refrigerators, your water pump, your deep freezer, can all kick on at the same time. It's unlikely, but it's possible, right? So you need to know what the peak wattage is for all of those items to start up at the same time, and know you have enough power to do that. Now, there's safeguards built into newer generators, there's safeguards built into your home that should flip a breaker. Not necessarily true. It might happen, it might not happen. It should happen. But so runtime, peak time, wattage is very important for you to do the math and know what you need, right? Or what you want. So what you need and what you want are 2 different numbers, okay? But, I've got mine set up the way I like it. I can't run the whole house, but I can run most of the house, right? I can get water. I have to cook on a camp stove. I don't like running my range or my oven or my dryer, my clothes dryer on it. It just seems like a waste of energy, a waste of my money. So I use a camp stove when I'm cooking, okay? Power delivery. How are you delivering this power to the devices you want to deliver them to, right? So I have and strongly suggest backfeeding through your panel into your whole house, right? That's what I do. That's what a lot of people do. Now, if you can't do that and you are going to run extension cords, that's fine. You remember how many outlets, extension cord outlets you have on your generator, right? And you need to have enough extension cords to run what you want to run. So that's another prep altogether. Extension cords is a whole other prep for you. There's no shame in that game. Lots of guys do it, especially after the hurricane came. So many people managed to get their hands on a generator, either purchasing one or get one give to them or borrowing one or whatever. And they found out they had to go borrow a bunch of extension cords also. So you want to think about that prep before you have to have that prep. It was a little crazy here in Western North Carolina after the storm came through as far as getting out of your home, logistically getting anywhere to get anything you needed. So I'm just saying, let's think about Jennies now, and when you can't get out of your home, you've got the preps there when you need the preps, okay? Just thinking about things, right? When you choose your generator, what kind of fuel do you want, right? What kind of fuel do you have? Do you have natural gas lines available? Natural gas is usually pretty plentiful and usually very dependable. If you can power your generator on natural gas, good plan. I don't have natural gas here, but so the alternative to that is LP bottle gas, propane. But again, propane, gas generators, diesel generators, you need the fuel in your prep to run this thing. Now, I've said it in my last video, now the minimum's 14 days now. I need to be able to run my Jenny for 14 days. That's the minimum now, because it's happened. I know it can happen again. So it's happened on 14 days, right? But, so you choose the fuel when you purchase your generator, which fuel you want. There are dual fuel generators, so you can use LP, natural gas, or gasoline, or diesel fuel. And then you can you can use both. So, and that brings me to the conversion kits. They make conversion kits. If you have a generator that only runs on gas, you have to do your homework and get the right conversion kit. But you can get a kit that you can run, put it on yourself, and run propane or gasoline. I don't have those on my Jennies, but I have those coming now. I'm going to convert one of my generators to run on both because I stock both. I stock propane and gasoline. But I did find during the troubles that gasoline got hard to get, and I hadn't planned on 14 days, and I had some panic attacks on whether or not I was going to be able to keep my Jennies running on gas. So I revamped my plan on how much fuel I'm going to store in gasoline and propane, and figured out what I can siphon gas out of on my property. So things that belong to me can get the gas cycled out of them if I need to keep my generator running. And I needed to keep my generator running. Almost 15 complete days I ran my generator. Now, at times I had to schedule because fuel was getting low, and I had to schedule, you know, like I ran 2 hours on, 2 hours off, or 4 hours on, 2 hours off, or 2 hours on, 4 hours off. But I tried to keep my fuel where I thought I could run another day or two till I thought I could get fuel. And so I made it fine. But so if you have questions, drop them in the comments. I'll try to answer any question I can. I'm by no means an expert on this field, and but I've been doing this for a lot of years, and I know what works for me. And you know, what works for me don't necessarily work for you. So you need to look at your house, look at your bug in location, your bug out location, and see what's going to work for you. I got to mention solar. Um, the solar generators that they sell on TV right now, look, they're awesome. Don't get me wrong. I would like to have one. But the solar generator, unless you have a huge solar array, is probably not going to power your water pump and your well. Okay. Good way to keep your refrigerator cold. Charge your phones. Watch some movies on DVD. They have a place in every prepper's pantry. I promise you they do, and I'm looking at them myself, but can't justify the money right now. But I want to mention solar. It is available as a generator. If you're going to go to run your whole house with solar, just run your whole house with solar. I mean, in my opinion, the money that it's going to cost you to be able to run your whole house with solar is going to be pretty hardcore. But, you know, again, it's quiet, and we'll get into that when I talk about safety, but it is quiet and pretty much renewable. So, you know, you don't have to worry about running out of gas. So I dig it. I dig why people are into it, right? So, safety, generator safety. I have to talk about this because, man, lots of people die every year from carbon monoxide poisoning. So, you know, make sure your generator's ventilated. You're not pumping it in your house. You're not running it inside your garage. It needs to be outdoors, okay? Let the wind take the carbon monoxide and the fuel smell that's going to come from the exhaust out of your house, okay? Be smart. I mean, look, if you're smart enough to wire this into your home or run enough extension cords, if you're prepared for this, you're probably smart enough not to put your generator in the house. So, but I have to say that. I have to say that because there's days when I'm not sure I'm that smart. So here we go. Here's another thing I found out during the storm. Jenny maintenance, dude. You have to change the oil in your generator. You have to do the things like turn the fuel off and run all the fuel out of the carburetor on your generator before you turn it off, right? If you're turning it off for 2 hours or 4 hours, that's different. But when you're shutting that thing up, when the power came back on, I had to let my generator run until the fuel ran out. Took a minute, but I've been there and done that. I've had to put carburetors on my generators because I left the fuel inside. So, but maintenance of your Jenny. Make sure you maintain it. Make sure you're changing the oil. Oiling what needs to be oiled, greasing what needs to be greased, changing spark plugs, changing air filters. Having said that, that's another prep, okay? So you want the filters, spark plug, oil, not just the oil. Most generators are hard to get to where you put the oil in, right? So when you purchase the generator, look at the thing, right? You need to make sure you have the funnel or a piece of a funnel to move the oil away from the generator into your retrieval bucket. So look at how the oil needs to be changed. Read your owner's manual. See what kind of oil you need, how much it takes. You need to stock that. You need to stock a couple of spark plugs. Air filter. Oil filter, if yours has a screw-on oil filter, you need to stock a screw-on oil filter. Mine don't. Either one of my Jennies have a screw-on oil filter, but this ain't about me. This is about someone who has questions about running their house with a generator. So, you know, if it has a screw-on oil filter, have a spare screw-on oil filter. You're going to need to service these things. So, general observations. Look, when Hurricane Helene came through, and everybody in the neighborhood, you could hear generators running all over the neighborhood, okay? So natural disaster planning is one thing, right? So SHFT planning, different story, man. You know, so I'm looking now at ways to make my generator not be heard by people near me, right? If somebody finds out you have gasoline or propane to run a generator, and you have a generator, that means you have something they might want, right? So I want to protect myself from that. So that's probably going to be another video down the pipe when I get more time and energy to look at that. But so do you want to purchase the big Generac generator, whole house generators? Look, it's all about your money. But again, know that in shit hit the fan scenario, you're a target when they can hear that thing. So you think about that. Think about light discipline. If you're in the middle of the night, nobody can hear your generator, but all of a sudden they look over through the woods and they see lights on at your house. Maybe they don't know you got a generator, but they know you probably got more than they got. So again, don't like the sound of paranoia bug, because honestly, I'm just going to tell y'all, when the power went out here for a long time, and my neighbors were awesome. They checked on one another. They checked on me. They were awesome. And I wasn't worried about anybody trying to take my shit. In fact, I was wanting to give some of my shit to people. So, because they were just so cool. I mean, everybody was being normal. I mean, nobody walking around full kitted up. It was, people were out trying to help people. And back on the safety thing, I watched, there were so many trees down, and I watched people out with their chainsaws. And I'm going to do a tool video too on the tools that we needed for a natural disaster. But I just want to say, hearing protection, eye protection, cut-free chaps, face shields, man, make sure you're getting those things and putting them up. I mean, I know we're all big bad men, and we don't like to, I don't like to grab my hearing protection when I grab the chainsaw, or it could be pretty important later on. Especially in a natural disaster, it's not going to last forever. Felt like it was lasting forever. Look, we're what, 4 weeks and a day from when Helene hit, and there's still a lot of stuff messed up here. A lot of stuff messed up. There's people still without water. There's people still without power. So, but it's not going to last forever, right? We're going to get those people where they need to be, because that's what we do, right? But again, take care of yourself, right, for the long run. Listen, taking up enough time. Just want y'all to know how it went for me, and if I can help you get through anything, comment, ask me questions. I'm going to try to read my comments a lot more often too. So, and just get back with y'all on any questions you have. This is important stuff. That's why I wanted to make my first video after I let everybody know I was still alive. But this is why I wanted to do this one first. The Jenny was a blessing to my home and a blessing to my neighbors. There were people who needed to charge cell phones and refreeze their water jugs so they could keep their cooler cool. You can be a boon to your neighborhood too. So I'm just saying, tell the ones you love them, and let's get full ice ready. And it's Muffin signing off.